Greetings everyone, my name is Tony Holowitz. Thank you for being here for this tutorial where I talk about companies in Act Premium Cloud. So if you look over here on the left hand side, there's something called companies. There's also something called groups. They're similar, but they react and work differently. So the way I like to think of companies is if you could think of that name as being something different, think of it as being called summaries, to summarize information about a company. So keep that in the back of your mind as I describe this. So here on the screen, I've looked up a contact named Marion Morrison. She is a salesperson at Duke Industries. Now, when I look up Marion, if I have a lot of people in my database, my reaction is, okay, Marion works for Duke Industries. But another reaction is, well, she's the only contact I have at this company, Duke Industries. And that's a fair assumption to make. So let me tell you the way companies can work. You can automate this so that if you have at least 2 people, or 5, or 10 for that matter, you can pick the number at a particular company, then they automatically get linked together and you can see information about everyone at that company over here in the companies area. So I'm using the word company, and you'll notice there's company right here. They call it companies. I also said think of it as a summary area or to summarize, and that's also another way to think of it. So how do we automate this? Well, let me show you. I'm going to come up here and first go look up company, and I'm going to type in Duke just so we can do a lookup of all the people at Duke Industries. And you'll notice that when we do this lookup, we have multiple people at Duke Industries. We have, and if I look down at the bottom, it shows me there's 8 contacts at Duke Industries. So here is our friend Marion, right there. And if I click on her contact information, or her name I should say, it's going to take me right to her contact inside Act Premium Cloud. Next, if I go up and click on Tools, and then I go down to Preferences, which I scroll down a little bit, you'll notice if I click on Startup, there is a setting in here called Company Creation. And I can set this to 0 if I don't want it to be created. But let's say I set this to 5. Well, if I click OK, next, it's going to tell me, hey, in your Act database, I have changed this so that now 6 companies will be created. So what does that mean? Well, I'm going to click on OK, and you'll see. So I clicked on OK. I'm going to click Close. I'm going to refresh the screen by pressing the F5 key. Now you'll notice that Duke Industries is a blue hyperlink. So next, if I click on that hyperlink, this will take me to the company's area for Duke Industries. Now, I always find this description and the way I have to describe this confusing because I'm using a lot of the same terminology, company, companies. How does that distinguish itself? Well, again, that's why I wish instead of companies, they called it summary. So if I click on Duke Industries, it's going to show me inside the companies area over here on the left, Duke Industries. What this really does is it gives me an area where it shows me every single contact that is at Duke Industries. It also shows me or summarizes all the activities, opportunities, history, notes, documents. It takes all that information where I'd have to normally go contact by contact. If I click back here, let's say Sam, let's go to Marion. If I wanted to find a note, but I didn't know where I put that note, which person at Duke Industries I put that note with, I would have to go look at notes for every single contact to see if there was a note related to that contact. If I wanted to know what activities we had scheduled with Duke Industries, I would have to go contact to contact to contact. But what companies does is it summarizes all of that information under this particular company, Duke Industries. Is when I go back to my contacts and I look up companies one more time, or let's say I want to look up Marion, I'm going to go look up first name, Marion. When I get inside and I see Marion, before where I really thought she was the only contact at that company, this blue hyperlink signifies to me that she is part of a bigger organization. And because I know that number I used was the number 5, I know there's at least 5 people at Duke Industries. So this is one of those recordings that listen to it a couple times, because the first time I can appreciate it can be a little confusing because of the ways you can look at this information. But this can be a good tool to use for many, many different reasons. So take a look at this again, revisit this, come back to this tutorial, make sense of it. Another thing, and the last thing I'm going to show you before I do this, is I'm going to go look up all contacts. And you'll notice that when we look at these contacts in a list view, you'll see that certain contacts are hyperlinked and certain are not. So let me click on list view. And all of a sudden down below, you'll see that there's companies that are hyperlinked based on the numbers CH Tech 1. And again, this is a demo database, but that tells me there's at least 5 people at that company. Thank you, everyone. I hope you get something out of this tutorial. I know this was a little bit of back and forth, might be a little confusing, but it is what it is. Thank you.